Sup, clowns? Today we're going to be talking about something that I played recently. It's Resident Evil 8. Now, I already know what you're all thinking. I already know where all your minds are going. I already know why we all bought this game. So let's just get the horniness out of the way. Let's just get it out of the way with a couple clips. Just gonna get the horny out of you before we even get to the rest of the review. Because I'd like to take this semi-seriously. And I'm hoping you take it semi-seriously as well. So, without further ado, here's a couple clips from stream of my favorite lady in the game, and the reason we all bought it. Lady D, baby. All three of these girls are pretty good looking. Oh. Oh, yeah. Oh, hot! No, not that, not that! I don't like this anymore!
Man blood.
What's the safe word? Please. What's the safe word? Tomato! Tomato!
Then Winters, you escaped my little brother's idiot games, did you? Let's see how special you
Yes, mother.
Please don't take my pants off. Please don't humiliate my wiener. Please.
Starting to go a little.
She won't even look at me. She's so disgusted. And that's the hottest part. Now, I know. Those clips probably didn't get you less horny. I mean, I was on the screen. You probably saw my Iron Man body and just... it made you even more explosively, aggressively sexual. So, I'm sorry for that. But let's get to the rest of the review. So, I really enjoyed this game. I thought it was fun. I had a blast the entire time I played it. It's one of the few horror game experiences that I've had where every single part of the game is full of fun stuff to do. There was never a moment while playing this game where I felt like I wasn't having any fun. And I think that that's one of the most important things for a game, is that it's fun and keeps you entertained, you know what I mean? And, I mean, let's be real here, on my streams, if you were there, Chat and I, we had a blast. I did it for 12 hours, and throughout the entirety of the 12 hours, I never once felt as though I was bored, or the chat was bored. It was just a lively, entertaining game for everyone involved. I will say, though, if it wasn't for chat and I wasn't streaming the game, I probably would not have liked the game as much. I think that if I were to play this by myself, it probably wouldn't have been as fun for me, because I really do think that getting the chat involved and being able to talk to them and everything really did add more to the game. It felt like we were having a cozy hangout the entire time. It felt like when you get some B movies together and just watch them with the boys. Like, you just feel good and you have fun. I mean, the only thing that was missing was a couple of brewskis, and then we would have been all good. But not everything about the game is good. The gameplay is fun. The gunplay is great. It has a fun little loop of gameplay that you go through, and it keeps you entertained and engaged with the game. But there is some things that really bothered me while playing the game. The first of which being something that I found very annoying, which is the sensitivity settings for mouse and keyboard. I played the game on mouse and keyboard, and I can seriously tell you guys that I felt like a slug while I was trying to move the mouse back and forth, like look with the gun, and it was just unbearably slow to move left and right and up and down. So what I ended up having to do is I ended up having to crank my DPI up to 6 to 8,000. I forget which exactly. I think it was 6,000. And I had to crank the in-game sensitivity all the way up, and then it was bearable. I no longer felt like a slug. I evolved into a meerkat. It was nice. I evolved into a meerkat. Evolve into crab. That's what I did. I turned into a crab. And so After evolving into a crab, the game was easier to play. It was fun. It wasn't very hard to figure out how to make the game better, but it was a pain in the ass to deal with that. So it definitely takes a couple of points because of the sensitivity and the controller settings. And I also found some of the controls to be weird. I know you can swap them out and pick different keys for stuff, but I like to try and critique the default because it's like an ease of accessibility type of thing, an ease of access. It makes it better to have better keys by default. So something that really bothered me was that the F key was the button to pick things up and do stuff like that instead of E. I don't know. I've never played a game where F was the activate button. And maybe I'm nuts and focusing on all the wrong things right now, but that really set me off. And when I would go to play other games, I would push F because this game fucked me up so much in the head. So that was definitely a couple of points off for me, but still, game's pretty good. Another thing that really bothered me about this game was the characters other than Lady D. All of the characters, the supporting characters, you had the vampire mommy milkers, Lady D, the most important character in the game, the reason you bought it. You had Mother Miranda. Okay, alright, whatever. And you had Heisenberg the meth dealer. You had the little doll, and then you had Ugly. Okay, so those characters, other than Lady D, they play such a small role in the overall story in comparison to the amount of time that it takes to do Lady D's part. It's just huge. It's worlds apart. There's no comparison between the amount of time that you spend doing Lady D's part versus their parts. And I think that that leads into a bigger problem with the game. Lady D's part is just the best part of the game. And yeah, this might be spoilers, so hold your ears for a couple of seconds. But her whole part is at the very beginning of the game. You complete her part within the first 6 hours of playing the game, right? 6 hours, you're done with Lady D. They blow their load at the very beginning of the game, and then they just leave you sad and bonerless as the game goes on after that point. It's almost as if they had an idea for Lady D, and then they just built the rest of the game around the idea of Lady D because they wanted to do something with her. And after they had the Lady D part done, they were just kind of like, I don't fucking know. Fuck it. They're going to be horny enough. Who cares? We don't need to bother with the rest of the game or pay attention to it at all. We just need to make them horny and they'll buy it like crazy. Woo! And I think that that's really the approach that they took, because you finish Lady D's castle and then the game just from there. And it's a total downward spiral in quality from that point onwards. And while we're talking about the characters in the game, there is an unsung hero that I haven't seen too many people talking about. And of course, talking about the Duke. That's right, boys. The Duke. He is the coolest fucking character in this game. Like, sure, you're here for Lady D. That's fine. But the Duke's a pretty cool dude too. I'm just throwing it out there. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for it, but I think the Duke is a premier part of this game. The Duke is amazing. The Duke sold the rest of the game. Like, every time you interacted with the Duke, it was fun. I've never had that experience with a shopkeeper in a video game before. It was insane to me. I don't know how they got me so interested in the Duke. Maybe it's just because he's such an absolute unit that I couldn't help but love him and look at him. I have no idea. But I will say that the Duke is where it's at. A+ on the Duke's character. He is great. He is the unsung hero of this game. I like the Duke more than the main character of the story. It's great. And I will also say that the dialogue at some parts of this game gets like fucking wacky, crazy kinds of bad. Like, not bad. They all put out their best talent, but I think that the writing of the script was not good. For example, there's this one scene in the beginning of the game, really early on, where Ethan is in a house, right? And it's burning down. He's trying to save this one chick, and she dies. And he goes, "Why is everyone around me dying? I can't believe this! No! Why is everyone dying?" And it's just so fucking... Here, hold on. Let me show it to you, actually. F's in the chat for new wife, boys.
Everyone dying on me.
Why is everyone dying on me? Yeah, it just gets wackier and wackier from there, and the dialogue doesn't stop being wacky at any point in the game. I think they kind of made it a little bit wacky on purpose, because there's no way that they did that by accident, because it's so good. It's like when somebody has that B-movie quality, where they tried to make something really good, but they just couldn't, and that's why it's good, is because they actually tried. It's fantastic. I just don't know how they got it. And then we also have the... So I don't want to get into spoilers here, but the end of the game for me was really disappointing. They did my boy Ethan real dirty. I mean, the ending of the game makes sense. It's not going to confuse anybody. You're not going to stop and go, "Wow, that came out of fucking nowhere. I can't believe it. Whoa!" You're not going to do any of that shit. But it kind of just comes out of nowhere. And it's like, you remember that crazy thing that was happening earlier in the game with his arm and shit? It's because of this. And it's just kind of... It's kind of lame. Like, it doesn't feel cool. But I think that they did a pretty good job at making the game a cohesive story from the beginning to the end. I think that they just could have done a better job about making you care about the individual characters, especially once you find out who the big bad of the story is. You do not give a shit about the big bad of this story, because of the way that they set them up. The objective of the game is that you are trying to find your daughter, Rose. You need to get Rose. Alright, cool. We need to find our daughter. That's something anybody can understand and get behind. However, they never give you enough of the daughter or their interactions with Ethan in order to make you give a flying fuck about the baby character or their relationship to the main character. You just go through the whole game not giving a rat's ass about the main objective of the main character of the game, and it really brings you down throughout the experience. It's just unguided. I feel like it's misguided effort, and it brings the story overall down, that you spend most of the game doing something to get an end result that you just do not care about. It's just, you just don't care. Nobody gives a shit about the Rose character. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up really quick by saying, I think that this game is a solid 85 out of 100. I think that just makes sense. I think when we clock this into the clown meter, it's gonna end at the clown meter. It's the clown meter now. When we end up cranking this into the clown meter, it comes out to an 85, because the gameplay is fun as fuck. The castle part, which comprises a vast majority of the game in comparison to other parts of the game, is fucking amazing. You're gonna get that old school horror vibe. It's gonna be good. You're gonna have some jump scares in the game. Like, you're not gonna just randomly fucking but it is gonna get you a couple times, and it definitely got me. Here, look, let's check out these clips really quick. Great, he's gonna jump scare me. Oh shit. Look out the window. Oh god! They got me. They got me, boys. Chat was loving it. I was loving it. This is just a fun experience, especially if you're going to have it with friends. If you have this with friends, it is going to be a fucking blast. Please don't do yourself the disservice of playing this game truly alone. Like, I know, get one person to play this game with you. It's so fucking good to have another person playing this game. It's amazing. It's like watching a shitty movie with your friends. It's just going to be a blast. But I also think that the score needs to go down to an 85 because all of the characters except Lady D aren't very good. The castle part is the best part of the game, and it only lasts for about half the duration of the game. The ending is kind of crap, and they don't give you any reason to really give a rat's ass about the main character or his objectives. The wacky-ass dialogue, which can kind of be a plus and sometimes in the game, but overall the dialogue kind of just removes you from the experience, and it's just a solid game. Go check it out, guys. Like, highly recommend it. What I would say is, if you can wait a little while and get this game on sale at some point, just grab it. Just grab it. Like, for example, if I knew how good this experience was going to be and how much fun I was going to have playing this game, I would 100% buy it again. Every single time without question. There is no way I wouldn't buy this game again. So, an 85 is our final score here. That's about all I have for you today. I love you guys. Bye. Holy shit. She has a
Mother
fucking
Miranda,
dump truck.
I regret to inform you that Ethan Winters has escaped that fool Heisenberg. Because he is in my castle and has already proven too much for my daughters to handle. When I find him... No, Mother Miranda. Yes, of course, I understand the importance of the ceremony. I won't let you down.
I want to be that chair. I wanted to be that lipstick.
To hell with the ceremony! That man will pay for what he's done.
She's actually gonna rip off my penis. Like, just grab it and rip that shit off.